My dear sisters and brothers, in all the 4 Gospels, we find the description of the cleansing of the temple. But with a difference. While the other 3 Gospel authors place the description of the cleansing of the temple at the end of the public ministry of Jesus, one of the last days of his life. St. John situates it in the beginning. In the beginning of his public ministry, the first time Jesus goes to Jerusalem during the public ministry, the first thing that Jesus did was to cleanse the temple. And the reason for this, he was taking authority over the Jewish religion. The Temple of Jerusalem was the center of Jewish worship, Jewish religion. And that's where the people gathered to worship God, to offer their life to God. The center of all worship of the Jewish nation. And when Jesus went there, Jesus saw something very unholy. The temple was made a marketplace with oxen and sheep and doves and money changers all seated in the temple area. We would wonder why. There was a very practical reason for that. When the people came to worship, they often sacrificed animals, oxen, sheep, doves. They also needed temple money. It was prescribed in those days, the money of the Romans could not be put in the treasury of the temple because the Roman coin had the head of Caesar encrusted on it. And that could not be put in the temple treasury. So in the temple area, they changed that money into temple money. And therefore, there was a practical reason why all such business was thriving in the temple area. But in the process, something terrible happened. Temple is a place of worship. Worship means surrender, self-surrender. I surrender myself, my life to God. But business is the opposite of surrender. Of course, in honorable business, a profit is just, and yet the very attitude of business is opposite to worship. While worship is giving myself, giving all that I have to God, proclaiming I have nothing of my own, all that is mine is given by God. The motive of business is not to give, but to get. Every business is aimed at a profit. Profit making. In every business, what people ask is, how much will I get? And temple became a marketplace. All dirt, all calculations, all compromises, all settlements happening in the temple area. And Jesus takes authority authority over the temple of my Father, he said. The temple of my Father, I made it a marketplace. And that's when the Jews were angered. They questioned him, on what authority do you do this? Now here there is a very beautiful twist to the whole event. Jesus said, you destroyed his temple. I will build it up on the third day. The Jews could not understand what he meant. 46 years it took for this temple to be built up, and you will construct it in 3 days. St. John interprets, he was speaking of his own body. What's the meaning of what Jesus said? What Jesus meant was this. He came to Jerusalem for this purpose, to offer his body to the Heavenly Father, his life to the Heavenly Father, as worship, perfect worship, giving himself. Perfect worship in order that the humankind may be saved. And Jesus prophesied, you will crucify me, but I will rise up on the third day. And Jesus was establishing once and for all what worship is. Giving oneself to God. When we give ourselves in the hands of God, God will raise it up. And Jesus is the authority.